Hello everyone, my name is Amos, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of MCA, MIT, Mysore. Before starting with the subject, let me introduce about the vision and the mission. A vision statement is an inspirational statement of an idealistic emotional future of a company or an organization. Vision describes the basic human emotions that a founder or a founders intends to be experienced by the people of organization interacting with them. Whereas the mission statement is a short statement of why the organization exists, what its overall goal is, identifying the goals of its operation. Now we know the vision and mission and its importance. In this view, the Institute of MIT has come up with its own vision and mission. Let us go with the vision of the Institute. To be recognized as a premier technical and management institution promoting extensive education, fostering research, innovation and entrepreneurial attitude. If this is the vision, the missions to accomplish this vision of an institute is as follows. To empower the students with indispensable knowledge through dedicated teaching and collaborative learning. To advance extensive research in science, engineering and management disciplines. Next, to facilitate entrepreneurial skills through effective institute-industry collaboration and interaction with alumni. To instill the need to uphold ethics and in the every aspect of the matters. To mold holistic individuals capable of contributing to the advancement of the society. These were the vision and missions of the institute. Keeping the vision and mission of the institute, department has derived its own vision and mission. Let us look into the vision of the department. The vision of the department is to be the premier source that provides a transformative education to center or to create computer professionals, competent entrepreneurs and technocrats to meet the global challenges. In order to achieve this vision, the mission of the department is as follows. To facilitate students, to nurture skills, to participate their professional competently to meet the ever-changing needs of the society and environment. Next, to develop the potential of human resources with new ideas, research to meet the requirements of cutting-edge technology. These were the vision and mission of the department. Now, I would like to discuss about the subject called the Management Information System with the subject code 18MCA354. This subject is been offered by a VTU for the MCA course during the third semester as an elective subject, and it consists of 5 modules. The first module is about the introduction, and the second module is about the decision making, and the third module is about the technology of information system, and the fourth module is about the e-business technology, and fifth module is about the e-commerce. These are the 5 modules that constitute the portions of the MIS subject. And the textbook preferred or prescribed is as follows. The first one is the W.S. Javadekar, that is the title of the book is Management Information System, the 4th edition by Tata McGraw-Hill publication. And the second book is by Henry Chan, Raymond Lee and Tharam Dillon, Elizabeth Chang. The title of the book is E-Commerce, Fundamentals and Application by John Wiley and Sons publication part 1 and part 2. Next, I wanted to give the instruction about the course and the subject. This subject constitutes of internal marks for 40 marks and external, that is the exam, would be written for 60 marks, whereas a combination of 40 and 60 is constituted as the 100 marks, that is the weightage of the subject or the marks given to this topic called or the subject called the Management Information System. Next, the objectives. Let us look into the objective. The objectives of including this subject into the syllabus is to provide a clear understanding of management information system in the real world. The second point, the applying information communication technologies to solve the business problems. And the third is to describe life cycle components of enterprise resource planning components and challenges. And these were the objective of this subject. Next, we'll look into the outcome. When you talk about the course outcome, this is what we say that at the end of this course or studying this course, what would the students get? These are the 3 points that students get. The first one, the students will be able to recognize the role and use of technology in the business system, operations, and describe the organization structure as a whole. Next, students will be equipped with the preliminaries of technologies used in the business information system. And finally, students will be able to familiarize themselves with the basic application and e-commerce initiative. Next is the first point we should know is the first question the students would think of is, why do we need to study MIS? The answer for this is, MIS program prepares you for the business and industry. We know that of course MCA is Master of Application of Computer Science, or it is a totally not dealing only with the technology, it also deals with the application what we study into the industrial things. So students has to be ready for the industry. This course helps them to make themselves ready for the industry. So MIS program prepares you for the business and the industry. MIS is a degree with the subject you are focused on the business side of the information and management in order to maximize the more profit towards the organization. Then second one, what does the students do, or particularly students with MIS subject help? MIS students learn how business use information to improve the company's operations. Students also learn how to manage various informations so that the best they can serve the needs of the managers, staffs, and the various customers. These are the points that describe why do we need to study this subject. Next, we'll see about the MIS itself. The word MIS is a combination of 3 words. So these 3 words can be splitted individually, and before going it, we need to understand the importance of those words. First, we'll study what is M. M is management. The management can be defined as the process of dealing with or controlling the things or the people, or it can also be defined as coordination and administration of tasks to achieve the goal. So M can be defined as controlling, next we look into the I. I is information. Before going into the information part, first we need to look into the what is data. That is, data means it's a Latin word which means the plural of the word datum. Data refers to raw facts and figures. That's why we call it as data, as raw material for the information. So data can also be referred as usually the facts that is been collected as a result of experiment, observation, or the experiment or the process within a computer system. It can also be defined as data can be defined which consists of numbers, words, images, sets of variables, etc. Next we can look into the one more beautiful things, that is the information. The information is the processed data is called information. Not just the processing of data is turned into information. A processed data which has been placed in a meaningful and useful context for the end user is said to be information. Means the information should make a sense to the end user. That is called as information. Now, there is one more beautiful relationship that has been defined with respect to the data and information. We'll look into it. Now, data is said to be as input, means it is raw facts and figures. Now, this data is processed. Now, when we process the data, we get the output. Means this one diagram clearly depicts that data is given as the input, which has been processed, and the output, what we call is as information. Next we'll go into the third one, that is the system. Now, what is system? We should know that what is the system. You might have seen about computers. The computer PC is also called as a system, whereas individually when we consider the monitor, we don't call it as a system, we just call it as an output device or a monitor. When we consider an input device, that is a keyboard, we just call it as a keyboard or an input device. But keyboard, mouse, monitor, CPU, when all together is combined or integrated together, we call it as a complete system. In the similar way, the system can be defined as a set of principles or a procedure according to which something is done, or an organized scheme or a method to process a particular task is said to be a system. So, system means we have one more thing, it's a prefix given to that. So, there are a lot of system we can consider it as hospital system. Means it's a system, whereas hospital, to run the hospital, it adds its own procedure and the principle. Similarly, education system. Now, to run the education system is totally different with respect to the procedure and principles followed in the hospital. So, again, education is one more thing which has its own set of rules and regulation to run. That's why it is called as educational system. Now, we know that MIS is constituted as one integrated things. So, this is what the word MIS means. Next. The next topic we look into it is why information is critical. Most of them say, talking about data is sufficient, what is their information? Now, there is a major role or key role, we say that information is critical. This is why most of the people fail to make decision. I would like to illustrate with one example. One of my friend called me and said he wanted to purchase a four-wheeler and he is in a dilemma state which vehicle to be purchased. I said, go to the showroom, take the data, the brochures, compare, and you can decide. And he said, I have already done that. The brochures are in my hand, but still I am not able to decide. So now here is the problem, means he is having the thing, but he is not able to decide. He thinks that is an information, but that is not the information. That is the data of that particular vehicle what is having. Next, I gave him a suggestion stating that rather than having the data in hand in according to it or in association with that, go and talk to the owners of those particular vehicle. So you get reviews from them. So he said, okay, I'll do that. In 2 days, he came up with a new vehicle stating that I was able to decide by the feedback of those reviews. What is the thing that has happened? Now, he is not having the data, he has also obtained the process data of those vehicle and its information. So, he was able to decide which vehicle to purchase. Now, what is that problem is causing here is the students or the person is not having the information properly. That causes the reason for failure in making the decision. I would like to quote this problem with 3 parameters. First is, the information what we have is not what we want. Second one, the information we want is not at all information we need. And third point is, the information we need is not available to us. We think what we need is an information. So these are the 3 parameters. If these 3 parameters are answered, we will be able to make decision. Next, fourth point. There itself we need to see why do we need information. Next. The simple answer is, information is needed to ensure effective and efficient decision making to the prosperity of an organization. In other words, it says information is needed to make decision. This is what the answer for this question. Next, we will see what should the MIS system provide. Next, we have seen what are all the types of information, why all these things. We will see why or what kind of information should be provided by the system. Then we will see that system is the perfect or the right information system. The first one, the information is right information to be given. Means, I gave you the illustration of a friend. He did not have the right kind of information, so he failed in making the decision. So a system which provides the information should be right. Second one, the information to be given to the right person. If the decision maker did not get the information, he will be not able to make a decision. That's why the top level management or the decision makers or the managers are the right persons to be equipped with the information. Third one, the right information to be given at the right place. If a person is at the decision making place and if he is not able to obtain the information, then he is not able to make decision at that instance of time. Next, the right information to be given at the right time. If he fails that moment of time or the time is passed, if he is not able to make a decision, then the things go wrong. That's why the information should be obtained at the right time. Fifth one, in the right form. Means the required information should be accessible, readable and usable to the end user, that is the decision maker. So it should be in a right form. Sixth one, at the right cost. The cost of information should not be too high. So these are the 6 points. We also call this as the 6 rights. So if these 6 points are achieved, then we can say that this information is a right information. Next, let us go to the final verdict. So now looking at these parameters, why do we need an information? Then what is MIS? Then why information is critical? Next, why we need exactly the information for the usage at the end time, and what should MIS system provide? Looking into all these aspects, we can make a decision stating that MIS is a computer-based system that provides managers. When we call managers, it's a decision makers with a tool. So MIS can be considered as a tool for organizing, evaluating and efficiently running the organization. So it can be given by the equation like, it can be called as tool. The first one is organizing. Organizing plus evaluating. Plus running the organization. Now, this would be the final equation that can be considered. So, even in the theory subject, we have an equation called for MIS. That is, MIS is a tool which is for organizing, evaluating, and finally running the organization. This is the complete background of the MIS system. Now, let us look into the new concepts. Next is a concept. What we see the MIS as a concept. Now, the concept of MIS has been evolved over a period of time comprising of many different facts or functionalities of an organization. MIS is necessary to everyone and every functional parts of an organization. So, initial concept of MIS was to process the data of the organization and present it in a form of reports at regular intervals of time, means providing regularly the updated or processed information to the end user. This concept was further classified or distinction was made with respect to data and information. This classification of data and information we have already studied. That is, data is the raw facts and figures, that is a raw material for the information, whereas information is a finished product. Next, we will look into the one more extension of this concept. This concept gives a high regard to individuals. Now, this is the high regards to individual, but the real part lies in utilizing this information to the fullest by the individuals. What is this information includes? This information includes the concepts like theories, principles, concepts from management science, management accounting, operational research, organizational behavior, engineering, computer science, philosophy, human behavior. Making all these things makes the MIS more efficient and useful. Next, we need to look into the two things. One is the conceptual view. There are two views in MIS. One is a conceptual view and second is a physical view. What does conceptual view says is the foundation of MIS is the principles of management and its practices. MIS is used in the concept of management control in its decision and relies heavily on the facts of decision makers. So, what are the things that constitutes the conceptual view is as follows. The first one is MIS, second one business goals and missions, and the third one is application of pure and social science The fourth one is applications of principles and practices. Of management. Fifth one, it's a use of database and the knowledge base. And finally, sixth one is the IT and enterprise software. So, these are the 6 main points. It has been given in a pyramid structure. Since I am not able to represent the context inside the pyramid, I am writing it outside to make it an efficient view. So all these things, first one we will look into it as MIS. Now looking into this is a diagram with an explanation. We explain this in a top to down approach. In the top to down approach, the first is the MIS, means the management information system. Here it provides you the complete information. This information, using this information, the top management will be able to make decisions. Making the decisions involves the setting of the company's or the business mission or the goals. Third one is, after missions are set or the business goals and missions are set, we look into the application of pure and social science. When we look into the application of pure and social science, it's a matter of principles. It's a matter of ethics that has been deployed. Next, here application of principles and practices of management. Here what we do, what are the things that companies expecting to do, and what also rules and regulation that govern the working principles is been decided, framed and put into action. Next, after that, use of database and knowledge base. When we call this database, all the information after processing is dumped into a database or stored. In that database, we also use knowledge. Knowledge base is also called as stored repository of a previous experience. And finally, IT and enterprise softwares are used in order to carry out the further activities. All these things is said to be support. Now look at this. We are just talking about the conceptual view. These are the theoretical things what we say. So MIS, business goals and mission, application of pure and social science, application of principles and practices of management, use of database and the knowledge base, IT and enterprise software. All these things constitutes as a support to the MIS system. This is called the conceptual view. Now let us look into the physical view. Conceptual view is something like theoretical things, whereas the physical view is something like practical things. There is a lot of difference between the concepts of theory and concepts of practicality. We'll look into it. When we talk about the physical view, the concept behind this physical view is, the physical view is a blend of principles, theories and practices of a management, information and a system, giving rise to a single product called the management information system, that is a MIS. Conceptual view describes the support as a structure, whereas physical view provides one complete system. Let us look into it. The first point states like EIS. The second one is the business information system. Third one, it is the mission critical application. So fourth one is functional information subsystem. Fifth one is the database and the knowledge base. Sixth one is data processing and the analysis system. Finally, we have the seventh one, that is OLTP, data, and finally validation system. Again the same thing can be described in a pyramid structure. The conceptual view had the 6 concepts, whereas the physical view has 7 concepts. The topmost is said to be the EIS, and the second one, that is the BIS, Business Information System, is said to be the second layer, and the third one, Mission Critical Application, is said to be the fourth layer, and the fourth one, Functional Information Subsystem, is said to be the fourth layer. Database and the knowledge base is said to be the fifth one. Data processing and validation system is the sixth one, and OLTP, data and data validation, is said to be the seventh layer. Now, talking about the physical layer of this MIS, we'll talk about the upward approach. In the conceptual view, we had come up with a downward approach. Now here we are looking into the upward approach. The first is a OLTP. When we talk about a OLTP, it's an online transaction processing, because we are doing most of the activities in the online, that is the exchange of information through e-commerce and other things. So data is collected from OLTP and regular data. These data has to be validated through validation system, means whether the obtaining thing is right or not, or whether it is a data itself or not. So this layer constitutes the first layer, that is the OLTP, data and data validation. After this, the data is processed, means the data has to be processed and converted into information through analysis. When in analysis system, we look into that after processing, are we able to get the right information. So here the data is processed and analyzed, and next the right information or a right thing is pushed into the database. In the database, along with that, we have knowledge repository, that is a knowledge base. When we say about knowledge repository, it is the information obtained over a period of time through our knowledge or an experience. Then this data in the database and the knowledge base can be used by functional information subsystem. There would be, when you talk about an organization, there would be n number of subsystems. Those subsystems can utilize these data for its working principles. Next, this data is also information during the mission critical application. When we call a mission critical application, it is the exceptional cases, when we encounter some problem, when critical situation, this information comes into picture to execute and overcome those problems. And finally, it would be helping into provide the business information system, means it could provide the complete picture of a business system, whether the business is in the right track, whether it's going properly, whether it is in the track of achieving the profit, or what is the situation of the business also. And finally, this information is transmitted through EIS, that is electronic information system, to outside or a management. All these things form an integrated structure. Now in the previous conceptual view, we saw it is a supporting structure, whereas here it is an integrated structure. Next, Now by knowing all these things, we get a very good picture a very good picture for defining the MIS itself. So MIS is prevalently domesticated as an information system or the information for decision making, or it can also be defined as computer system. One of the standard definition that has been found in the textbooks are the MIS is defined as a system that provides information support for decision making in organization. So it is very clear MIS means decision making, means the information that has been obtained from the MIS system would be able to achieve in achieving the activities of decision making. One beautiful example or a definition that most of the students love is a short and sweet definition that has been given in one of the textbook. It is MIS is defined as computer based information system. So we'll look into the next concept. The next concept, that is the role of information system. Now we have seen the various principles, concept, the definition. Now what does MIS play the role? What is the role? MIS plays the role of a heart in the body, like a heart of a body. You might have seen the human body is a system which consists of lots and lots of several parts. All these parts need to be alive. In order to make these organs alive and working, a constant thing has to be supplied. What is that constant thing? It's a blood. Blood is represented to the information in the organization. The blood provides energy to the organs, and those organs are kept alive and they start keeping working the things. In the similar way, in an organization, the MIS system not only provides information, it provides the processed data, means purified blood is supplied to the various parts by the heart. In the similar way, the purified data, that is a processed data, that is the information, is provided to various subsystems in the organization, so in order to work and achieve the goal. The one of the classically things that can be defined as the system that ensures the appropriate data is collected from various sources, processed, and then further sent into individual, group of individual, or a management. Then what does this satisfy? This also satisfies the diverse needs, means how does information can be obtained. The information can also be obtained from the MIS system through query system, analysis system, modeling system, and decision making system. So this is the role of an MIS. Now next we will look into the new concept, that is the impact of management information system. Now we have seen the role. Next we will see what is that MIS making the impact. Now looking at the impact, the first impact that MIS makes is management functions. When I talk about management functions, it is that effective management of marketing, finance, production, and also personal, that is every individual is a key task. MIS helps to do all these things. The first impact. Second one is understanding the business. When you come into this, there would be n number of employees working in the organization. They would be not aware what is the next department doing up, or what is the next production department doing up, or where the information what we process is been going up. So in order to know the whole as a whole completely, MIS uses a dictionary where it constitutes of data, the various entity, and various attributes associated to it. This would be the second impact that MIS would have. The third impact is systemization of business. Since MIS provides a complete information, it is helpful to streamline the various operations. And the fourth one is directing towards the goal. When we talk about the goal, MIS knows the complete principles and the procedures and also the goal set by the management of the top level. So MIS directs every process in order to achieve the goals and the objective. Next is the management efficiency. That is the next impact. When we talk about efficiency, it is the variety of tools that MIS offers the managers to make a best utilization and make the management activities to a greater extent. Finally, reduction of manpower. And most of them here to this, they said that MIS system would take up the human jobs. No, it would not take up the human jobs. Rather, the clerical work is being computerized. That's it. So these are the impact that MIS system or a management information system would have in the organization. Next, when you talk about the MIS and users, it is not that the particular group of an organization needs MIS. It is each and every person in the organization needs MIS, and every department needs MIS. So to illustrate the usage of MIS, the different uses in an organization might be a clerk, an assistant, an officer, or an executive, or a manager. Each and everyone needs the information. Now, through MIS, the information can be implemented as a strategic weapon to lead the threats of the business, making the business more competent. So this is one of the key concepts of MIS. And finally, when we look into a good MIS system, erects the organization seamlessly by removing communication barrier. Means MIS would help everyone in the organization to know one another, and it helps to have a proper communication. Next point is next concept is the management as a control system. The concept of control could be defined as a process which managers assure that the actual activities conform to the planned activities. Means what has been defined as a standard things, are we doing in the right track? Means are the activities that what we are doing is as per the plan. This is called the definition for the controlling, which leads to the achievement of the standard or the common goals that has been fixed. The control process also measures the progress towards those goals and enables the managers to detect the deviation. Means if there is any slight deviation, it is helpful to understand, because when we look into the work progress, it is always better to look into the chart. We are going in a progressive way. If there is any slight deviation, it is very important to detect at the early stages so that we can rectify it and push it back to the work to achieve the goals. The Robert J. Mockler defines the MIS concept with a very good example as a management as a control system. We'll look into this diagram. First one, we need to establish the standards. These standards are for the performance standards. Next is once standard is established, we need to measure those performance. When we talk about measuring the performance, the right activities has to be measured with what? That is when we establish a standards, next we want to measure it. What do we want to measure? We want to measure with the actual, means the currently happening with the standard, which is standard is what we have established. If everything is happening as per the things means the standards are achieved, then there is no need to take any action. There is no need to take any action. If there is a deviation with respect to actual but the standard, then again the things has to be redone. Means things has to go again. If the actual with standard is done, yes, means achieved, no action to be taken. If there is any deviation, then things has to be redone and finally the measure of performance to be done. So this is what the concept I wanted to explain for this session, that what we have studied here in the first module, that is the concept has been gone through, and second one, conceptual view has been studied, then the physical view, and moreover the conceptual view and physical view are the most commonly asked questions in the examination. It would also be asked as differentiate between the conceptual view and the physical view of MIS. It was asked for the many papers for 8 to 10 marks. Then the standard definition, it needs to be known throughout the lifetime, and finally the role of MIS. This is very important in order to substantiate the subject. Next is the impact of MIS, means why do we need to go with the MIS, then MIS and the various users, and the management as a control system. This is again the important concept where it would be asked in the exam. This is what I wanted to handle in this session. Thank you.